Tell us why you think there's such an uprising around the world. Blacks, Africans, all around the world seem to be cheering this guy on. I mean, they're
Yeah,
coming out in droves in for rallies in support of him, wanting the West to
right.
keep their hands off.
Hands
Uh,
off. Yep.
yeah, why do you think they're? And even here in the United States, I'm seeing a lot of support with the in the black churches, the pastors coming out and saying, talking about this guy and this leader and praying that the Lord protect him. I mean, why do you think there is such a rallying around him?
When you are from a community whose leadership has been executed by force, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Bunchy Carter from the Black Panthers, you cannot help but feel resonance with other Black communities who have lost leaders by deep state execution. Patrice Lumumba of the Congo, Thomas Sankara himself was executed under suspicious circumstances that fit the deep state model. And everybody in Africa knows it. And so we have all, in a collective sense, as Black folks in the diaspora, have felt the need for somebody to rise up like this again. We tried leaderless resistance. Leaderless resistance has its merits, but actually, leadership encapsulated in a person with integrity and with force is something that has hit us all in a very real, deep way because we know that we need it. So now we have somebody who's embodying this example. And that's why, regardless of where you stand in the diaspora, everybody resonates with Ibrahim. It's like, can we have somebody who's forceful enough to protect what's being built and not use that force to prey upon the people? Here in Black America, we had plenty of greedy, moocher people, who talked a good game, but didn't back it up, didn't stand on business for the actual people they said they were serving. So Ibrahim shows up and we're like, can we get more of this, please? Thank you. And that's why people are resonating all across the world.
Yeah, it's interesting that when I look at what's gone on in Burkina Faso, and it's like the West. So the West obviously got into the slave trade and did that until they could no longer do that. And
Mhm.
when that was no longer okay, it was like, okay, all right, fine. We can't do slavery, but we'll figure out another way to siphon
Right.
resources. We'll figure out another way to control. And we'll do it through like these multinational corporations that'll basically just
Mhm.
come in and own everything. They'll come in and siphon all the resources, own everything, and the people will essentially still be enslaved to us, but just using economic slavery rather than actual bonded in.
A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome back to another episode of this YouTube channel. And today, I have a very great story. And, what if I told you that one African leader is shaking the table so hard that the entire Western media machine is scrambling to paint him as a threat? What if I told you that in 2022, a 36-year-old revolutionary captain took the reins of Burkina Faso, not with polished speeches or Western approval, but with raw, unapologetic defiance? Captain Ibrahim Traoré didn't just oust the government. He declared war on neocolonialism. He kicked out French troops. He reclaimed his entire country's dignity, and in doing so, he awakened something very powerful, something global. From the streets of Harlem to the hills of Kingston, from Chicago barbershops to London protest lines, black people stood up, and not out of blind loyalty, but because they recognized something familiar, something real, something historic. And today, it's not just about a leader in West Africa. It's about the movement, a spark that ignited a global black awakening, leaving Western powers scrambling and the narratives collapsing. Let's talk about how Captain Ibrahim Traoré became more than just a man. He became a symbol of resistance, pride, and Pan-African power. So sit back, relax as they bring you the facts. If you like this, subscribe, like, comment, and share. I'll be back.
Africa is uniting. I am so inspired by the way that the entire world came together in support of President Ibrahim Traoré. I want to speak specifically to my brothers and sisters in the diaspora and in the African nation. African Americans are not your enemy. We are with you, we are proud of you, and we stand with you. We are to become one empire, one people. If you cross one of us, you cross all of us. And as for African Americans, it is not only time to be inspired, but it's time to start making a deal. I've said before, it is essential that we start thinking about our own survival, and that can only be done in our own republic. We need to become partners with these nations.
Greetings. So, I am an American, and even though I'm unable to fight in the war in Burkina Faso with President Ibrahim Traoré, I stand with you and I support you, Ibrahim Traoré. Not everyone in America is going for this bullshit. The government has no reason to be, or grounds to be, trying to take your country's gold and trying to just bully you and bogart and just take what they want, trying to hunt you down, trying to kill you, murder you. I do not agree with it. I do not agree with it. And it's time for all of us to stand up. All, and not just blacks, not just the African diaspora, but everyone. Everyone. We don't have a right. And when I say we, I mean the government. They don't have a right, because I would never do anything like that. I would never do no shit like that. Going over into another country, and then when you can't get what you want, you're going to try to bully them. And then you use little black Uncle Toms to go and do your dirty work. Stand your ground. Burkina Faso, stand your ground. Stand your ground. And I call upon all the African diaspora, all, help this country. Help. Stop hiding behind your presidential roles and your governmental roles, and hiding because you're afraid they might do something to you. They probably put some money in your pocket. Well, it's time to stand up. It's time to let this shit go. It's time to come together. So, Ibrahim Traoré, we love you here in America. We love you and we support you.
Hey y'all, hey. So I've been down this, I wouldn't even call it a rabbit hole. I feel like we need to be educated on what's going on in Africa, because we're not going to get it from our news media. And I feel like all black people, I don't care on what side of what issue you're on, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, it makes us know, never mind. There is something that we need to be paying attention to, and that is West Africa or Burkina Faso. We need to be paying attention to Niger, and there's another country that's involved in this as well, but they're all African, and we need to be paying attention. I feel like the news media over here, they want to thrust us in things and distract us because there's something going on in the background that we need to be paying attention to, and this particular issue is one of them. I've been posting about it on my social media pages for days. It doesn't really even get played a lot. I think that some of them are even screening the stuff that I post, but it's fine. I'm just making sure that the people who are friends on my page, I have 8,000 followers, and sure that everybody that is connected to me is aware of this situation. Because if the United States or any of our counterparts harm this man, it's going to be a real problem out here. And for us to not be paying attention to that, but this particular situation warrants our attention. It warrants our real attention. We need to be supporting. We need to be supporting with posting about this. We need to be sharing the information. We need to be talking to our congressmen. We need to let them know by under no circumstances are we down with anything happening to that young man in Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traoré. I hope I'm not saying his name wrong, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Like, we need to be making sure that they know that we are paying attention. And the fact that they trying to use a brother in a general uniform. Now, y'all check this. Donald Trump has dismantled or fired or dismissed every African American military leader, except this one. And this one is taking his melanated ass over to our country, our land, where we originate from, and to try to start some confusion. I just know the Lord is not going to let it happen like that. And so all of us who are prayer warriors, who believe in what is right, we need to make sure that this brother know that we got our eyes on you too. And you think this young brother didn't survive 20 assassination attempts for you to come show your conniving face? We need to let you know too, my brother, that we are watching. We watching to see how you're going to behave, especially behind an administration who treated us the way that it has. So please, my brothers and sisters, I don't really even care what your hue is at this point. If you stand for right, you stand on the same side as me. And I just want everyone to know that we are praying. We are praying for the president of Burkina Faso. Hey, y'all. Hey, happy Tuesday. I wanted to address this comment because this was the whole point of me making my video. I know that the American people are being lied to. Not only are we being lied to, but the media is just ignoring this altogether in the hopes that nobody is paying attention, in the hopes that you're just watching P. Diddy all day, and that's the discussion that you want to continuously have, which is really, truly insulting. Like, I wish the best for Puff Daddy, but like, that's about where it ends for me. I'm really more focused on what's happening in Africa and what's happening specifically in West Africa, where we should be cheering them on, where we should be talking about this out loud, where we should be combating the lies that they're trying to spread with the truth, that we should be sharing that this young brother that made it free to go to school on all levels, that this young brother that made, you know, going to the hospital, having free health care. These ladies don't have to be worried about the burden of an expense of childbirth because he made that free, that he's paving roads, that he's giving them jobs, that he's opening plants, that he is taking possession of their natural resources and being able to do that for them to secure their future. We need to be able to speak on all the things that they won't speak on. This app, you know, and apps like this, IG, Facebook, wherever you can go live or speak out loud, it's actually helping to spread the word and to protect that young brother, believe it or not. Because I believe that if the United States, if that general from Shreveport, Louisiana, wasn't getting heat on X like he was, I believe that they would have already attempted again to try to do something. But now that we know that Russia is standing in the front of him, China got his back, and North Korea got both sides, look how quiet things have gotten, right? So of course we know this young brother is not safe yet, but the fact that we are out in the open on this app and other apps talking out loud about the fact that we support him, that we got his back, that we're praying for him, that our churches here in the United States are praying for him, that everybody is talking about this, that Black people are coming together on this specific issue, that's the wonderful part about what we're doing here. So we can combat those lies. This comment right here, we can definitely combat those lies. But we have to be out here sharing and talking about the truth. And just a side note, I've been seeing some of the lives, and y'all, let's keep it calm with each other. This is about supporting Africa. This is about them doing something. They have broken chains that have bound them for so long. They need to hear us speaking loud, clear, on one accord with one voice, saying that we support them, we're cheering them on, we're praying for them. Anything that we could ever do to help this go more smoothly for them, that's what we should be doing over here. Not arguing about who's right, who's wrong, who's Black and who's not. I'm Black, right? I'm African. I know where my heritage is. It ain't no mistaking that with me. And can nobody tell me different. So I'm supporting anything that has to do with the betterment of Africa on every level. And that's what you should be doing too. All right, let's do it, y'all.
So let's get one thing straight. The Western media doesn't waste a second. The moment Traoré stepped onto the global stage, they declared him a dictator, dangerous and a destabilizing force. But here's what they didn't expect. Black people all over the world weren't buying it. In fact, they doubled down in their support. Instead of fear, they saw courage. Instead of chaos, they saw a strategy. Instead of a dictator, they saw the spirit of one and only Thomas Sankara reborn. And suddenly, all over social media, talk about YouTube, TikTok, X, were all flooded with truth tellers, digital warriors, breaking down the lies, the history, the receipts. They weren't just paid analysts, they were the people, unfiltered, committed, Black Americans, Caribbeans, Africans, linking arms digitally and spiritually to shield Traore from the West's smear campaign. Now, these creators became his media defense team, challenging every headline, countering every narrative, and doing what the other media houses and Reuters refused to do or tell the truth. And it didn't stop online. Folks, they did hit the streets. They marched to embassies. They raised Burkina Faso's flags in protest. They sent money to grassroots media on the ground. Some even flew to Burkina Faso to stand side by side with the locals. This was and still is more than just a trend. It's a global black stand, a statement. We see you, we hear you, and we got your back. This guy is a G. And I really, personally, I really like what Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing. So, to understand why this moment matters, we need to understand the pain and history that birthed it. For centuries, Black people have watched as every leader who dared to uplift us with truth and strength was hunted down and taken out. Francis Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Banshee Carter, Medgar Evers, the list goes on and on and on and on. So when we see Captain Ibrahim Traoré, we don't just see a soldier. We see the return of something long buried, a man who is willing to stand on business, to speak with a fire in his voice and conviction in his action. And that scares the hell out of the West. Because their playbook depends on Africa staying divided, on Black people staying distracted, on leadership being corruptible, on us, Black people, forgetting who we are. But now, the diaspora is remembering. We are remembering that Africa is our root and our power. That the chains of slavery may have stretched across oceans, but they never broke our bond. We are one people. You can never separate us. You can never break us. This is not just about Captain Ibrahim Traoré. This is about reclaiming a future we were never supposed to reach. We've seen how the media manipulates, how they silence. But now we've built our own microphones, our own cameras, our own platforms. We've become the storytellers, the protectors, the shield. And lest you forget, we are the Black people. So let's be real. This support has already changed the game. Western governments thought Traoré would be isolated, vulnerable, and easy to erase. Instead, they found a man with an army of supporters worldwide, Black, loud, unified, and absolutely unbothered by the fear tactics. They can't spin this. They can't silence this because we're not just talking, we are moving. Some are calling for boycotts of French products. Some are donating to media in Burkina Faso. Some are sitting in the Pan-African strategic meetings across the globe. And all of us, we are watching loudly. So, as I finish up, here's my final word. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not perfect. No leader is. But what he represents is everything we've been longing for. Courage, integrity, and the audacity to demand respect for the Black nation. And if this global Black awakening continues, we may just witness something that the world hasn't seen in generations. A united, self-determined Africa. One that says enough is enough. Enough exploitation, enough manipulation, enough lies. Because this is more than just a moment. This is the start of a movement. And it's just getting started. We're getting started. Thank you for watching. Like and share if you feel this awakening. Subscribe for more truth, more history, and more unapologetic analysis. Peace out.